You have the power to control outcomes of things that happen in your life with the state of your mind. Our minds is more powerful than we actually think. Do you truly believe that? Not the things that you're seeing, the current circumstances of what you're facing in life right now, but where you're actually trying to go. You can change so much about your life with your mind. I know life can be difficult. You're going to face challenges and you're going to be dealing with things where it's going to try to push you away from these things. And this is where you have to have another dependency. For me, that's in my faith, that's in Christ, me sticking to my scriptures, my daily devotions, praying. For you, that might be something else, but that's where I get my source from. You're going to be dealing with people that try to challenge you, make you pivot away from the things that you have set aside. That's a normal part of life. Life is not supposed to be the smooth sailing thing. You're gonna go through things just like the stock market. That is what makes stock investors pretty much successful, because they can resist throughout these times. It's that same mentality that we gotta have. So if we can overcome that, it's gonna make us great stock investors. Not stock traders, that's a different mindset. More for the long-term investors. It's just riding out those waves to know that there's gonna be circumstances, and then you gotta capitalize on those down points as well. So when the market is going bad, everyone is running away, you got to think in the opposite direction. I did that in 2022 when I saw Netflix, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, all the tech stocks were getting battered. Why? Because they were overbought, overly inflated from 2020 to 2021. And then the market is starting to realize, wait, hold up. We're getting these earnings report, but then looking at what these companies are actually bringing, we do not see the trajectory of this money that we're putting towards these stocks being valid in the short term. In the long term, yes, because if you look at the prices that they peaked in 2022, 2021, they have all surpassed that. We are now in 2025. This mentality, this mindset that you got to have in reverse provides you the opportunity to capitalize when others are running scared and panicking. You are thinking about the outcome for the future. Is the same way that you got to apply this in the general rules for your life. Steps to actually build this together. You got to find something that you can stick to, a ritual. And it doesn't have to be 0 to 100 right away. Find something that it could be small. It's a habit that you can actually build. For me, that was reading the scriptures on a daily basis. I really started doing these short devotions. There was this app that I was using, and it took about 5 minutes. Had to read through me because I hate reading, so it read the audio to me and I kept up with it over time. Also exercising. I remember I used to work out for 5 minutes 3 times a week. I did these short bursts, very extreme workouts, but I was able to keep up with it on a consistent basis. When I try to work out for 1 hour and try to go ham, it didn't work out for so long. After a while, I was doing once a week, twice a week, and then I just fell off. I took a break and then never actually went back. But for me to get that regimen back, it was really about 10 years ago. I needed something to help make sure my creativity was staying in play. And exercise was definitely one of the ways for me to be able to always have that energy, that refresh that I needed. Finding that time to commit to that, it creates discipline inside of you that is going to create discipline in other areas of your life. Because the minute you can achieve in one area and be successful at it, it makes the next areas easier to actually achieve. After the exercises, now you're increasing the regimens of what you're doing these things slowly. Because once you pass that 21 day is what they say, but really I truly think it's like 3 months. If you can stick to something for over 3 months, then you're going to get in the habit of keeping up with it for a very long time. And it's going to become autopilot. You're not even going to think about it. You're going to be your own self-motivator because it became a habit now. If you took that piece away from your life, you will feel empty, like you're missing something, and you have to do it. You're going to see the benefits in the short term, which in the long run is going to pay off. So it's not that you're going to keep doing this more and more. I can tell you that for a fact. Increasing the exercise time is not something I'm doing. Once I reach past a certain age, I realized my body was changing a bit. I can't go as hard for as much time. I used to go work out 3 times a week, 2 days for about an hour, hour and a half. Go ham, go hard, sweat, sore, and everything. And then on Fridays, I went ham. I used to run to the park, sprint there, and then do these 8, 9 to 10 different exercises and then sprint back. And I had to cut back on that. When I noticed that I couldn't make it past the sprint going back, I took that out. And then slowly and surely, I took the beginning run that I did to the park to warm up because my knees were being impacted. And then I slowly now took down the Friday workouts to be more toned down, eased down, because my body did not need to go that. and I still feel good. I still think I look good. At least my wife feels and thinks so. And it keeps me going to know that you're not going hard. That's right. You hear her right there in the background. Makes me feel at more ease because we don't have to kill ourselves in order for us to stick to the habits that helps us be successful. We got to learn to pull back as well. There are times of relaxations that you got to do. If you look at Michael Phelps, for example, he would go on the on season being in top shape, going hard, eating his 8,000 calories in a day and working out for like 4 hours a day. But during his off season, the dude got fat, and I'm sure it built up so much carbs into him, and the fat that he had, it gave him some more motivation to keep going. So we also got to do the same factor in our businesses, our investments, and everything that we're doing. We got to take time for vacation, time to relax. We can't go hard 7 days a week and thinking that we're going to be fine. I can tell you it creates and builds up a lot of stress. I had seasons in my life where I'm doing my consulting thing, working my 40, 50, 60 hours. On top of that, at night, doing some renovation work. So doing electrical, patching things up here, pretty much beating up my 7 days a week. But one thing I did not leave out is my Sunday worship. So I made sure that was a regimen because that was, if I didn't do anything else, if I didn't get to relax on a Sunday, that I got to do. That was my relaxation point where I got to sit down, listen to a sermon, get the word and receive it. And humbling myself to know that I'm dedicating towards something. No matter what happens, I got to put that aside. And I notice this is something too that the Jewish community does. And I applaud them for that. No matter what business transactions that they have going on, all dealings they're having, they dedicate to whatever rituals that they have set aside, because right now it's time for them to devote to God. They really put that as a priority. And I'm actually noticing that right now as I'm in a transaction trying to sell my parents' home, which is based in a Jewish community, Jewish buyers. They will not communicate, do anything, pick up their phones, respond to anything when it comes to their holidays and rituals. And it's the same way we should be. And that's the reason why they are so successful. They set times to do business and do all this stuff, but then there's time for relaxation and devoting time towards their rituals, their worship, their God. And that humbling experience is what I think helps us increase. It gives us a type of edge, a motivation, adrenaline that when we go back in it, we're feeling stronger, more capable, more than ever before. It's just like working out. You're working out, you're eating, refueling, you got to take rest days, and then after you come back on that Monday, you feel much stronger, more capable, and you can just go ham. That's how we got to really learn to adjust ourselves. There are days, yes, you're going to have to make sacrifices, and you cannot give up. Giving up is much easier. When you give up, what's happening is you're losing all the momentum. Think about when you went on a complete off season, you didn't work out for a long time. That first day that you came back, how did you feel? You felt like your head was spinning, you were about to throw up, you felt nauseous, and you felt weak. You didn't feel as strong. Your body was so out of shape, you let all that go. You could not really get back to where you were at. Mentally, you feel like you were, but your body really could not handle it. It's the same way. We cannot let the momentum completely go at all when it comes to dealing with situations in life, dealing with people in life entirely. Because when we do that and trying to come back to it, it puts us in a state where we never grow. And this is why, biblically speaking, the Bible tells us that we must be good stewards of what we have. We must not let go of any situations and challenges that we're facing. Because when we do, we just lose faith. We show that we're not trusted with the little that God has given us. So therefore, why should he trust us with more? So we got to use what we have, what we're given, amplify the best way as we can, and then it will amplify over time. Because if we are responsible, if we take good care of what we're capable of, the little that we are able to have, it creates that discipline in us, then we're ready for that next thing. Managing $1,000 for me to $10,000, I would not have the discipline to know how to invest $10,000 if I did not know how to properly invest $1,000. And then going from $1,000 to $10,000 and then to $100,000, I would not have the discipline to now having hundreds of thousands of assets to be able to allocate and look at and not be fearful when I see the fluctuations happen. That discipline had to incrementally happen over time. And this is where the success mindset really plays in. You cannot expect these things to happen overnight. You cannot chase after the fast thing, because anything you gain fast, you're going to lose it fast. But if you gradually got there, had the patience, had the discipline, instill that within yourself, no matter what challenges you face, difficulties you face, you're not going to panic because you were mentally ready, because you already went through the steps and ladders to actually get there and build up inside of you to build that character. So don't quit. Don't give up out there. You're going to find times people challenge you mentally, spiritually. They're going to throw you off your game. They try to throw you off your game with what they're saying, their actions. But you got to learn when to ignore that. Not saying let everything go pass by. You got to know when to stand up for yourself and really take a firm. That is one of the characteristics that, biblically speaking, is instilled in us, right? We got to show that we are remaining faithful. That doesn't mean you go and disrespect people and try to overtake them. You got to do it in the best way. This is where you got to seek God's guidance for that. For me, at least, this is where I seek God's counsel in terms of where do I really draw that line? Because there is a thin line between standing up for yourself, and I think you can possibly be disrespectful or seem offensive, and that's okay. Like, changes sometimes takes offense. If you are standing up for yourself, sometimes it could feel offensive, like you're disrespecting somebody, but really and truly, you're just not letting people overstep on that boundary. That is where you need good wisdom and understanding of what God has established in terms of what's the right thing to do in this particular situation. Don't let that bother you. Don't let that hinder you from your plans, the goals that you're trying to obtain and reach to. Because if you do, you might set yourself back. I can tell you, I had opportunities where in between the opportunities, there were situations that happened. It didn't make sense. I feel like the people I was around doing the business transactions with, they were playing very childish games. Not that I didn't pay it any mind. I handle it very professionally, the best way I can. And even if it did not work out, I know in the long run, down the line, whatever, if that situation revisits itself, I know I'm in a good state because I didn't leave it in a point where I really disrespected anybody. But I stood my ground in a very respectful manner. And that's the boundaries that we have to learn to draw for ourselves. So stay hopeful out there. Stay strong. Don't let people weaken your mind. Don't let people push your buttons to be like a radio. Anything they say, you just switch channels. That is a habit that you want to build inside of you. That's a character that's going to help you be more successful in the future. That's what creates a strong mentality up here. Go back to your rituals if you have to. People tries to anger you, piss you off. Don't let that bother you at all. Because if they can control you in that capacity, then where is your control to control the outcome of your life? You have that power by the ways that you react and respond to what others do, and how you handle those situations, those challenges that comes towards your way, that you don't just run away from them. You face them, you stand them up. Even if you fail today, just know that there is a tomorrow for you to succeed. If you have any questions for me, drop it in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next time. Peace and love. Trust in Jesus. Have an amazing one.